Into the last 16 we go now, and we've got a bit of a cracker on our hands as the Swiss take on a bit of a wobbly Italy. That's right, the champions are back in action. Will they make it through to the quarterfinals? We're going to get into it, all of it, next. That's right, folks, back once again with another match preview. Looking forward to this one. That's right. Runners-up of Group A taking on runners-up of Group B. That's right. We're going to get into all of that and more in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. And again, if you're new, smash your subscribe, boys. Your one-stop shop for Euro 2024 is right here under one Ruski. They've been a bit wobbly, a bit crap, to be honest with you, Italy so far, but have they saved their best for the knockout stages? As for the Swiss, they, of course, want to avoid as we get deeper into the competition. We're going to get into that right here, right now, of course. But before that, 50 likes if you can. Smash a subscribe if you do. And again, hello, Patreons. That's right. So let's get into this one then, shall we? And have a little look at it. It is the first of 8 last 16 matches. And we're going to take a little look at this one right here, right now. It is the Swiss, it is Italy, but let's of course remind ourselves how we got to this stage. Switzerland qualified as Group I runners-up. They secured their spot 18th of November 2023. Been here 5 times in the past with Murat Yakin as your manager, Starman Granit Xhaka. They, of course, were in Group A, where they had odds at 11-2 to win the group, to qualify 2-1 on, and to win the whole thing 66-1. Those odds now, as we approach the last 16, have gone down to 40-1. So they're a little bit closing in on it. Could they be the dark horse? Well, they're in amongst it. And, of course, my expectation was a last 16 spot in here, and so far they're doing A-OK. Let's take a look then as how they got to this last 16. They did open up with a 3-1 win over Hungary, only mustered a draw against the Scots, and of course a draw against the host Germany to finish second in the group. But yet to taste defeat, of course, scoring 5 goals along the way, conceding 3, but so far so good for La Swiss. Now they've relied on these guys right here, right now. These are the key men. These are the squad. Jan Sommer, of course, Xhaka, got the likes of Ricardo Rodriguez, Elverdi. We've got the likes of Shaqiri, of course, with that wonder goal, Breel Embolo, Dua, Doi. They've all been there. They've all helped out one way or another. But what about the 11 then? We're going to go with this 11 coming at you right here, right now, with, of course, Sommer between the sticks. Alberti, Akanji, Shah, Freuler, Sakira, Xhaka, Widmir, Shaqiri, Okafor, and Vargas up top. That's my 11 for this one. What about yours? Let's take a look at the opposition then. It is the champions. It is Italy, who of course qualified as Group C runners-up. They qualified 20th of November 2023. Been here 10 times in the past, and of course they are the defending champions heading into this one. Luciano Spalletti is the manager. Now I have put Matteo Retegui down here. He did feature in the last game. It was a little bit hard done by not to break the deadlock. So maybe, just maybe, Spalletti is seeing the signs that we've got to use him a little bit more, of course, and get involved in it, because he had a couple of opportunities. It was a little bit hard done by not to score against Croatia. But will he feature in this one? Well, we'll see. Now, of course, we're in Group B, where they had odds at 2-1 to win the group, 8-1 on to qualify, and to win it, they were 14-1. Those odds now lengthened somewhat to 18-1, so they're drifting. And of course, but both Italy and Switzerland are on this supposed good side of the bracket. My expectation is that they'll navigate this one against the Swiss, get to the quarterfinals, and then we'll see about that. This is their resume so far, though. Unbeaten, well, actually not unbeaten. They won 1, lost 1, and drawn 1. They opened up with that 2-1 win over Albania. Wasn't good, wasn't pretty. They came from behind in that one to, of course, get a win. Meanwhile, they did lose to Spain, but guess what? Spain are pretty savvy at the moment and look to be the team to stop. Then, of course, it was that game against Croatia, which started to be a bit of a damp squib, but ended up being an absolute thriller, with Croatia looking to secure a spot in the last 16, but only to be eliminated. They're now 100% eliminated, following on from the results over in Group C and D, of course. So round of 16 beckons with the Swiss. Now these, of course, are the key players for Italy. We've, of course, Donnarumma between the sticks. You got at the back there. We've got Darmian, we've got Mancini, Bastoni, Pellegrini, Barea, Scamacca, and of course my main man, Retegui. Now what about the starting 11 then? When we're going to go with this one, if I can get over there quickly. Donnarumma between the sticks. We've got Darmian, Di Lorenzo, Bastoni have been very good at the back, despite Italy's struggles. Di Marco. We've got Barella, Jorginho, Fratesi, Chiesa, Sacamenka, and Retegui. That's my 11. Again, it's a bit tasty. I don't know if you agree or disagree. Now, here we go. Let's talk about the game itself, the crunch matter. Taking place on the 29th of June at the Olympic Stadium over in Berlin. That's right. Switzerland with Myakin in the dugout. Italy with Spalletti. They have played each other 16 times since 1954. 2 wins for the Swiss, 6 wins for Italy. There's been 8 draws between these two sides. They are neighbours geographically on the map. And of course, they share each other's mountains. They share a border. But Switzerland, 75% form for them right now, unbeaten in the last 6 games. They have only won 1 in 4, and that was against Hungary. Meanwhile, the Italians, 67% form for them right now. Back-to-back games without a win, of course, but just 1 defeat in the last 6 matches. The most recent match between these two sides ended up all square back in November 2021. There was a World Cup qualifying campaign for Qatar. In fact, it's been back-to-back draws. In fact, 5 of the last 6 games between these two sides have ended up all square. That's how tight a game this is going to be. But Italy have picked up the one and only victory against the Swiss over the last 6 or so matches. That was a 3-0 win back in June 2021. The bookies on this one go with Italy, I think, or Switzerland 9-4, Italy 7-5. The draw is 2-1. It is quite tight with the bookies, and also quite tight with the public vote. Look at that. I've never seen it as tight as that. That's what she said. 45% for Switzerland, 55% of the public vote have gone with Italy in what can only be described as probably a tight, twisted, very narrow, very fine margin game that's going to come down to the wire. And I think that's where I'm going. When you look at the form, you look at the bookies, you look at the public vote, and you smell it, take a deep breath, it does smell like a draw. I am going to go with a draw, which means it goes into extra time, which means the prospect of penalties is right there. And I'm going to back experience here. I'm going to back the Italians. They've not been great. They've not been good. The Swiss have been the better side out of these two nations in this competition so far by a distance. The Swiss took it to Germany. They were a little hard done by against the Scots. And of course, they took it business against Hungarians. Italy, wobbly against Albania, awful against Spain, very lucky against Croatia. They've been lucky. That luck will run out at some stage, but it will ride one more time. Going to go with a 1-1 draw, penalty shootout victory for the Italians. They will go through to the quarterfinals. And who will they play on? Well, we'll see whenever that transpires. That's what I've got going on in that last 16 encounter between the Swiss and Italy. It's a ding-donger. It's a classic. And as you can see, very fine margins over the recent encounters between these two sides. I expect no difference in this one. And of course, if it was to end in 90 minutes, I'm going to back the Swiss. That's how it is. But I just think there's going to be a very cautious approach by both sides in this one. And it will get to penalties. No question on this one, or at least definitely get extra time. Anyway, that's it. Subscribe, smash the like. We'll see you later. But of course, we'll see you whenever we return for those quarterfinals. One of these two nations will be there. Who will it be? We'll talk all about it whenever we return.